pages. Chronicles, Gospels, prophets, sages. Leviticus, laws to pause, find phrases. Turning them corners, your spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalms singing sweet, unbroken lines. Hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the never blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflows.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. All right, we got sound. Boy, that doesn't sound great today at all. Very, very muffled. Let me look at something here. Bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. We'll turn that up. Keep going. How about there? Does it sound better now? I think that'll do it. That'll work. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Okay. Now, why it was not giving me this, like, scene transition and stream information are showing me the same thing, which is incorrect because they are not the same thing. And it won't let me move that. Bum, 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 bum. So, well, anyway, welcome in. That's just a problem with OBS. It appears, it puts it right back, and it says the same as the scene transition, which it's not. So, I don't know what to do with that. So let me do that, but it will not let me move those. Do I have it locked? Yeah, there we go. They're locked, that's why. So let me move that out of there for a minute, close it, and try to reopen it. Now it's giving me the right info. Okay. Now let's put it back in. Okay, there we go. And we'll lock the dock back up. I don't know what I was doing that, but little things like that that are supposed to be and aren't sometimes bug me. Oh, what do we have here? Is my scene frozen? My stream? Oh, I must have pushed pause. Okay. And my wife is boarding soon. She's headed to a work-related gathering. So she will be gone. So that means fasting for me. Whenever my wife is gone, I do fasting. Not because I can't make food. I do make the food. It's just, then I don't have to make food for her. Why would I make it for myself? I could avoid doing that, and instead of make food and not eat, which is a weird thing to do, which I do occasionally. So, all right, let's see where we are today. Okay, and I decided I want to work on this a moment. I made it square because I thought that would be a good plan. I still think it's a good plan, but I need to change what I'm doing with that. So let me add a new slideshow. There we go. Oh, add existing. No, add a new one. There we go. Flyers. There we go. We'll call it that. Flyers. Okay. Oh, no, we don't. We want, let's go 800 by 800. Did that work? Did it not work? Yeah, I thought that's what I needed was an X. Okay. There we go. And add the first one. Dun 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 dun. Come on. There we go. Add that one and add a second one. Interesting. It gave me an option to add directory. I wonder if I just put a file in and then I put them in here, it would change. I'll have to ask Ukulele about that. She would probably know. There we go. We got 2 podcasts up and coming for you to know about. So, not only a podcast later today at 2 p.m., but also a podcast at Thursday at 5 p.m. So, the ladies are taking over this week. Okay, so today we are in Genesis Torah Tuesday. Torah Tuesday. And, well, this is your viewer count just went plummeted. I don't know what that was all about. Or if it was accurate. Or if it's accurate now. Who really knows? Okay, we are in Genesis. Let's get into that. I need to change the appearance. Or you get the grayscale, I guess is the best way to talk about it. I don't know why it does that. Really wish I could figure out a way to not have to go to dark mode. But alas, poor Horatio. That's what we must do. Then do it we shall. And change. I'll move that further up. It's going to be Genesis. And there we go. Hey, Demara, welcome in. Good morning, Dapper Pastor. Thank you. Thank you. We're Genesis 20. So we're still in Abraham. We haven't even gotten past Abraham yet. Okay. I should say we're 4 months in. We're not. We finished last year in January. So there's that. There's that. Okay. So where were we left last? Oh, we had the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah is what we last covered. Let me make this font a bit bigger for everybody. Apparently it already is. Come on, click off so I can read. Oh, wait a minute. Did I take the chapter verses off? I did not want chapters off. I was just trying to... There we go. Yes, I need the chapter number. If anything, I need that. Okay. Abraham journeyed from there to the Negev region and settled between Kadesh and Shur. So the Negev is going to be the southern region of the land of Canaan. And it's like a desertish region. You know what? Let me just look at the flyer or the... time between slides, 200 milliseconds. Let's slow that down. That seems super fast. Let's make that 20,000. Will it let me? No. We'll make it... Well, it'll let me do it this way, but it won't let me type the number in there. All right, we're going to keep increasing that. Sorry, it's flashing so fast, it's annoying. There we go. We're up to 7,000 milliseconds. I don't know why it won't let me just do seconds. You know, that'd be easier. Maybe it would, but... There we go. We're at 10,000. Okay. If it's annoying to anyone else, we can change it again. So, That's what I was fixing. Podcast happening today, then a podcast on Thursday to let you know about. That seems better. When you only have two, that's like boom, 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 boom. Too many. Okay, so Abraham, after the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, leaves the region and he goes south. Now, I was asking the question, why didn't Lot go seek out Abraham after this? And why didn't Abraham go seek out Lot? Now, on the why didn't Abraham go seek out Lot, we don't know whether he did or not. Maybe he would have probably sent a servant, and maybe the servant could not find him, and he failed to do that. Or because of the destruction, Abraham makes the assumption that Lot was destroyed within it. I really feel like this is a missed opportunity. They could have joined back together as family after this horrible event, and they didn't. And now Abraham is leaving and going further away. So if Lot were to want to go and pursue after Uncle Abraham, he would have to spend more time and effort to figure it out, which he clearly doesn't. I don't know if Lot enters the story again. So Lot may have just exited the story. Okay. While he lived in temporary residence in Gerar, Abraham said to his wife Sarah, said about his wife Sarah, "She is my sister." So Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. So, again, we still have the same pattern. We still have the same thing. We've evaluated this already before, but the Bible never mentions this as Abraham is doing something wrong. It doesn't present it that way. It just presents it as what he does. I think that's a valuable thing for us to think about at times. There are things that can be just things and not sin and not nefarious and not just, they just are. So Abraham is saying, she's my sister. He is not lying. However, he is perpetrating a deceit. Deceit for the protection of other people is not, and protection of yourself is not often portrayed as something you should not do. And even a couple of times, outright lying to protect other people is seen as an upright thing to do. Deceit for personal gain is not shown to be a beneficial thing. So, okay, so the king sends for her. But God appeared to Abimelech in a dream at night and said to him, "You're as good as dead because of the woman you have taken, for she is someone else's wife." Okay, so if we think of the story of Esther, someone comes in, doesn't immediately go to the king. They go into the harem, so to speak, until they get prepped to be able to come and be with the king. So we could think of maybe not the same extent that the king there has, but on some level, a consummation tent with the women who are in some preparatory stage before becoming a concubine of the king, and then those that would be afterwards concubines or wives of the king. So we could have something like that, which would be, he took her, it's going to be some preparation before anything happens. Okay, you are as good as dead. Look, you are dead. The Hebrew construct uses the participle hinen and the second person pronominal participle. With the participle, it is highly rhetorical expression. You dead, man. And she is owned by an owner. Okay, that doesn't work well in English, in modern English. Okay, there are times like, yeah, that would convey a meaning, but that isn't the meaning we want to. The meaning isn't intended to be she's property. She has a husband. So, okay. Now Abimelech had not gone near her. He said, "Lord, would you really slaughter an innocent nation?" Okay, Notice when this happens, okay? Now, we just had Abraham pleading for Sodom and Gomorrah, who are sinful, if they would spare them if there were 10 righteous. Sorry, 10 righteous. You would spare them if there were 10 righteous. He goes from 50 down to 10. If there's 10 righteous, will you spare them? Here, the king is pleading for an innocent nation. So he's starting with the fact that they're all innocent. We have done nothing wrong. Are you going to destroy us? Abraham started with the position of they are unrighteous, but maybe there's some righteous among them, and you could save them if there is some righteous among them. And Abimelech here is starting on the other end of the spectrum. That we are innocent. Did Abraham not say to me, she is my sister? I could not have known anything different. I had no inclination. I trusted the man at his word. And she herself said, so by 2 or 3 witnesses, he is giving the by 2 or 3 witnesses. She herself and Abraham both attested to the same thing. She said, he is my brother. I have done this with a clear conscience and with innocent hands. Okay, the nation is innocent. I am innocent. Integrity of my own heart. Yes. With integrity of my own heart, with the integrity of your heart. So I have my own integrity, and I have integrity before you. Ooh, I like that. Okay, look at that. Like I said, he's pleading on behalf of a nation. Abraham pleaded on behalf of a city. Then in the dream, God replied. So, okay, now it says dream. What did it say to begin with? God appeared. God came. Okay. See, saying appeared makes me think of vision or a person there. But if God came, you're not telling me how he came to Abimelech. Now you're going to tell me it's a dream. Okay. The God appeared, and then in the dream felt a little confusing there. Yes, I know that you have a clear conscience. That is why I have kept you from sinning against me and why I did not allow you to touch her. But now, give back the man's wife. Indeed, he is a prophet, and he will pray for you. Thus you will live. Okay. Abraham is called a prophet here. Interesting. I don't know if he's called that elsewhere, or that he's called that often. For discussion, what is Nahib? Well, let's just go look it up. Is that the first time it's used? Genesis 20. Genesis 20. What verse? Dun, 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 7. Man, his wife, for he is a Nahib. A Nabi. Ah.
Strong's H 5030. Navi.
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 A spokesman, a speaker, a prophet, a false prophet, a heathen prophet. Okay. Where's the first use? This is the first use. Okay, and this is the only time that Abraham is said to be a prophet. So, the prophet is the one who speaks to God, is one way to look at this. The prophet is one who speaks to God. An angel is a messenger of God. And it's not that a prophet does not speak on behalf of God, but we do have the connotation that Abraham speaks with God. Moses speaks with God. The other prophets speak with God. So I think that is one of the defining factors. Not only does this prophet speak for God, but a prophet speaks to God. So here, you need someone who can speak to God on your behalf. So you go to a prophet, and the prophet is the one who will intervene with you, to God. That's what we've got going on. He will pray, and thus you will live. But if, if you do not give her back, know that you will surely die, along with all who belong to you. Sorry, turning my heater on. Along with all who belong to you. So is that the household or is that the nation? He was pleading on behalf of the nation, so I'm inclined to think that that is the nation. The whole nation will die if you violate this. So you were right. You were innocent. You've got the choice. You can go forward with your plans, which I've warned you about, and experience death. And everyone who belongs to you will, because if you're the head of the nation, in essence, you are responsible for the entirety of everybody. So they will all die. But, you know, if you otherwise don't, you're all good. You're all good. Galaxy, thank you for the lurk, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry, I'm just looking. There we go. Adjust that. Oops. There we go. Okay. Early in the morning, Abimelech summoned all his servants. When he told them all about the things, they were terrified. So this is like an interesting move here. Interesting move. The king summons all the servants and tells them what's up. Hey, the jig is up. This guy lied to us. This is his wife, not his sister. And don't touch her. God warned me in a dream. And everybody's terrified. Terrified? Yeah. I think so. Like, I don't want to make a mistake here and the whole nation dies. I mean, just think about that. Like, you got anxiety problems. I'm not saying that they're not real. But I'm saying if you understand what anxiety problems are, think about that level of anxiety. Woo! Just going to crimp that just a bit. There we go. Okay. Abimelech summoned Abraham and said to him, "What have you done to us? What sin did I commit against you that would cause you to bring such great guilt on me and my kingdom?" How did I sin against you that you have brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? The expression great sin refers to adultery. Yes, and leave the words great in there. Such great guilt. Okay, you want great guilt instead of great sin. Okay. Okay, so I think on one level the reason that this is such a great thing is because he is not only harming Abraham, he is harming Sarah. So both parties would be harmed in this, but not to his knowledge. So he's asking, what sin did I commit against you that you would sin against me? Like, what are you trying, what did I do wrong that you're trying to retaliate on me? Like, you know, and you know your God, and you know what your God is going to do in response to it. Then what did I do wrong? How did I wrong you in some way? Okay. You have done this to me that should not be done. So, that's interesting. A deed that should not, deeds that should not be done, you have done to me. So, the violation of a relationship. Let's just boil down adultery to that. A violation of a relationship. That's what Abraham has just done. He has just violated the terms of the friendship with the king here. He has just violated the terms of relationship with the king. Then Abimelech asked Abraham, "What prompted you to do this thing?" Like, I need to know. Why would you do this? Yeah, so he is like, why did you want harm to me? Is what he's asking. He's going to find out that's not it. Abraham replied, because I thought, Surely no one fears God in this place. They will kill me because of my wife. What's more, she is indeed my sister, my father's daughter, but not my mother's daughter. She became my wife. When God made me wander from my father's house, I told her, this is what you can do to show your loyalty to me. Every place you go, say about me, he is my brother. So it's because of his fear of people that will kill him and take his wife. So Abimelech gave sheep, cattle, male and female servants to Abraham. He also gave his wife Sarah back to him. Then Abimelech said, look, my land is before you. Live wherever you please. So he doesn't cast him out. Okay, that's a fascinating thing to me. He returns his wife. Hey, Lucis, welcome in. Abimelech returns Sarah to Abraham, and he gives gifts to him. Why does he give gifts to him? To honor the God who warned him in a dream. Like, I to save my life, I'm going to give you some parting gifts. Sheep, cattle, male and female servants. All given to Abraham on behalf of Sarah. So, in essence, this isn't exactly it, but what it looks like on some level, if we get to later on, there's a violation of a woman's purity, and if you violate that and then you don't marry her, you pay a penalty. So he is in essence paying the penalty for the intent to take her as his wife, even though he didn't. So this is like that penalty is what he's giving. It can look that way. So it's not just it could be not just a fear of God and a recognition of your God is great and I'm going to bless you because he spared me. It could also be because of the appearance of my intent to violate, I'm going to pay the penalty had I violated it. So it's like a saving of his honor in some way. And her honor. Okay. So to Sarah he said, look, I have given 1,000 pieces of silver to your brother. This is compensation for you so that you will stand vindicated before all who are with you. So the 1,000 pieces of silver are to vindicate you before everyone else. See, that's what I was getting at. Look, it is for you a covering of your eyes for all who are with you and with all, and you are set right. The exact meaning of the statement is unclear. Apparently, it meant the gift of money somehow exonerated her in other people's eyes. They will not look at her as compromised. Yeah. Like I said, if we get later on into the Levitical laws, there could be some precursors of practices that were in the nations around of if you violate how to restore standing in the community. So this is a process of restoring standing and honor in the community, and he's willing to pay it. Also, Abraham is the one that needs to pray to God. Notice that. The foreign king doesn't get to pray to God and ask for forgiveness. Abraham has to pray on his behalf. Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, as well as his wife and his female slaves, so that they were able to have children. So apparently, we did not know this, but apparently what the penalty was for touching Sarah, or intent to touch, was that no one in your household will have children. Infertility is going to be the problem here. What the king doesn't want her? What's wrong with her? Oh, Lucis, you missed it. No. This is where Sarah is taken, and then God shows up in a dream to the king and say, don't touch her. So he is being obedient to God's warning not to touch her, but he's confronting Abraham first about, why didn't you tell me she was your wife instead of saying she was your sister? And now he is restoring relationship and standing in the kingdom for the violation that did not happen but was intended to happen. But we also have the penalty for the violation had gone into place. Now, How do you know this so quickly that we're unable to have children? This makes it appear as if Sarah is not, it's like not a one-day event. They show up, Sarah's in the harem, and then God shows up. Maybe this is one of those things where, Lady Bell, welcome in. Like we were talking about Esther, there's a whole year of preparation. Maybe there's a time of preparation. And before, the night before, the king is going to call Sarah to come in and go forward with making her his wife. That's when God shows up in the dream. If that's the case, if it's a month, if it's 2 months, if it's 3 months, and there's no pregnancies happening, and maybe there's no menstruation happening or something along those lines, now you would have the indication. So when we read these stories, it sounds like they show up the next day and then the next day. So there's restoring of things here. Okay. Oh, yeah. You're saying what people would say. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Lucis shouts out everybody. It's just our way here of saying thank you for coming in. So, thank you, Lady Bell. Okay. So, like I said, you look for little clues like this in the story, which is also interesting because Sarah is said to be barren. So taking a woman who is barren is going to, in some essence, bring barrenness on all of your household, everyone in the household, which is interesting. Yeah, you're just teasing. That's okay. Okay, for the Lord had caused infertility to strike every woman in the household of Abimelech because he took Sarah, Abraham's wife. Okay, what does it say here? Every woman. Yeah, closed up the womb. The fact indicates Sarah was Abimelech's household for weeks or months. Yes, before the dream or revelation. That's what I was just getting at. No one in his household could have children after Sarah arrived on the scene. The Hebrew has completely closed up every womb. Absolute precedent for finite verb emphasis. Okay. So this is an interesting back-to-back. We've got two things going on. We've got the king pleading for an innocent nation back-to-back with where Abraham pleaded for a guilty city. Isn't that fascinating? Abraham pleads on behalf of an unrighteous city, that there might be 10 righteous there, and Abimelech pleads on behalf of an innocent nation for them to not be destroyed. Abimelech is successful in his pleas. Abraham isn't, because there weren't 10. So then we have Sarah, one more story of her barrenness before we're going to get to the story of her having a child. Now, she has been said to be barren from the moment we meet her. We don't know how they know that. It's not just, by the time she got to 60, she didn't have any kids, so we call her barren. I think there's something that Abraham knows, and I'm not the only one that thinks that. There are ancient rabbis who speculated this too, that Abraham is so righteous that he knows his sister, half-sister, to be barren and will not be able to have a husband take her and take care of her. So he takes his sister, half-sister, out of love and honor for the family and for her. And that's why, so just backtracking, that's why this makes sense for, hey, I have been loyal to you. This is how you show me that loyalty back. Whenever we travel, you say, we're brother and sister. So, if that's true, that makes some sense back into the fullness of the story. Okay. Moving on to 21. The Lord visited Sarah just as he said he would, and did to Sarah what he had promised. Visited often describes divine intervention for blessing or curse. It indicates God's special attention to the individual or a matter, always with respect to a person's destiny. He may visit, that is, destroy the Amalekites. He may visit, that is, deliver his people from Egypt. Here, he visits Sarah to allow her to have the promised child. One's destiny is changed when the Lord visits for a more detailed study of the term. Cool. Okay. It makes me want to go look it up, so let's go look it up. Is this the first visit? Picard. Jean-Luc Picard.
Strong's H6485. Pacad. Pacad.
Picard. Okay, to attend, to muster, number, reckon, visit, punish, appoint, look after, care for. To pay attention to observe, to attend to seek, to visit, to pass in review. Ooh, that's an interesting one. To appoint, to assign, to be sought, to be needed, to be visited, to be appointed, to muster, to call, to pass in review, to set, to make, oversee, appoint, overseer. Ooh, interesting. To be visited, to be deposited, numbered. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. First use. The first visiting is on Sarah. The second one is when Joseph becomes the overseer. Is the second use of this. Excuse me. And then you've got here Joseph continually being appointed, visited. Okay. So this should in our minds connect with the story with Mary being visited by the angel and then visited by the Holy Spirit. So Sarah is being visited so that what had been promised. What do we have there? It's been spoken. Okay. Sarah became pregnant, conceived, and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the appointed time that God had told him. Abraham named his son, whom Sarah bore him, Isaac. The one born to him who Sarah bore to him, Isaac. The two modifying clause. Okay, yeah. Thought they were going to tell me that Isaac means he laughs. I think that's what it means. Because he was going to laugh, or he laughed when it was told, is Sarah going to have me a child in old age? And then Sarah laughed. But it's named he laughed. We tend to think of Sarah laughed because we're more familiar with that story than Isaac, or than Abraham laughing. When his son Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him just as God had commanded him to do. So does God command him to do this when he's 8 days old? Or is the command about circumcising him just you will circumcise your son? So he does. Why does he wait 8 days? Later in Leviticus, we get the rules of it, you circumcise on the 8th day. I don't believe there's any rationale that's given for why the 8th day. But if you have 7 days of creation and God rested the 7th day, and on the 8th day you do that, that makes some sense. But here's a different point of why later it becomes, and maybe this is just put back into the story. So when we get to Leviticus, a woman is unclean who is bleeding. However, on the 8th day, when you are to go to the temple and you are to circumcise your males, she can go in, because after 7 days, then she has been declared clean to be able to go in on the 8th day for the ceremony that's going to happen of circumcision and the firstborn being dedicated to the Lord. If it's a female, you need to go 7 days for yourself, 7 days for the daughter, and that kind of a thing. So this is about ceremonial cleanness on some level. So Does that go back to here and Abraham knew, or is this being added into the text of the 8 days because later on the command is given for the 8 days? I don't know. It's just interesting. Now, Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. The parenthetical disjunctive clause underscores how miraculous the birth was. Abraham was 100 years old. The fact that the genealogies give the ages of the fathers when their firstborn is born shows that this was considered a major milestone in one's life. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Sarah said, God has made me laugh. This also plays into the name. Everyone who hears this will laugh with me. She went on to say, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children, yet I have given birth to a son for him in his old age. The child grew and was weaned. Abraham prepared a great feast on the day of Isaac was weaned. Such a weird word. Children were weaned closer to the age of 2 or 3 in ancient world because of infant mortality was high. If an infant grew to this stage, it was fairly certain he or she would live. Such an event called for a celebration, especially for parents who were waiting for a child for so long. I thought it was more like 4 or 5 years before they were weaned. I guess it really depends on culture, but I thought it was 4 or 5 years. Just because if you... prayer time, Lady Bell. Let me know what you need prayer for. Because exactly that. Childhood mortality was high. Famines were often a problem. So if you have a child, and you might wean a child if a second one comes along, but if you still are able to feed that child in the middle of a drought, a famine, because they're not weaned and they're still young and weak, it's beneficial to the child. So I thought it was a little longer than that, but maybe I put my time frame in a different manner, or my culture. But Sarah noticed the son of Hagar the Egyptian, the son whom Hagar bore to Isaac, mocking. Sarah interprets Ishmael's actions as being sinister. Ishmael probably did not take the younger child seriously, and Sarah saw this as a threat to Isaac. Paul in Galatians says Ishmael persecuted Isaac. He used the Greek word that can mean to put to flight or to chase away, to pursue, and maybe drawing on rabbinic interpretations of the passage. In Paul's analytical application of the passage, he points out, though once the promised child, Isaac, symbolizing Christ as a fulfillment of God's promise, has come, there is no room left for the slave woman and her son, who symbolize the Mosaic law. Okay, we're going on and on there. Okay, Lady Bell, you need some prayers for your family. One of your second cousins in Idaho just killed in the head on a multiple vehicle collision yesterday. His name, Barefoot Bob, his girlfriend's son was in the car with him and was airlifted to the hospital. We don't know of his condition yet. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Let's pray. God, we are lifting up Lady Bell's cousins in Idaho in this circumstance with a multi-vehicle collision yesterday, with Barefoot Bob being killed and his girlfriend's son in the car in critical condition. God, we're just asking your blessing upon this kid for healing, for wisdom for the doctors to do the best for his body to respond, for healing to be upon him. We pray for your comfort and peace on the whole family in the midst of their sorrow, their grief. Just be with them. Be with them in their mourning. Allow them to fully grieve, and make your face to shine upon them, your presence to be there, and for healing to come. God, we pray this all and anything that they are in need of. We pray it in Jesus' name. Amen. Lady Bell, I am so sorry to hear that. That is very tragic. Thank you for asking for prayer. Okay. Are you close enough, Lady Bell? I don't know where you're at. Are you close enough that you may be able to go visit your cousins, or are they too far away for you to be able to go and visit? Idaho is a long way away from me, and I've never been there, so I don't know if you're hours away by drive or hours away by plane. Just thinking of your ability to reach out and connect if needed. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. She noticed the son of, notice he doesn't get mentioned by name, the son of Hagar the Egyptian, the son whom Hagar had borne to Abraham, mocking. So she said to Abraham, banish the slave woman and her son, for the son of the slave woman will not be an heir along with my son Isaac. Okay, this is fascinating, this story here. Pay attention to this, okay? Abraham does for Sarah everything that she asks. Previously, when there was an issue with Hagar trying to usurp Sarah, and they were fighting, Abraham did not step in to settle the matter. He said to Sarah, do whatever you please with her. And she sent her away, and then the angel visited and sent her back. So there's that. In the background, that Abraham did not intervene in the story to try to make restitution into the relationship. He did not act. He let Sarah act. And now that apparently trickled down to the son. Okay. You're in western Colorado. The roads to get there are covered with snow. We are all ready, and then all the timers go off. We're already going there for another funeral in the middle of June when it's melted. Oh, okay. Yeah, I travel in that part. Yep, you still have snow. My mom still has snow. She's up on Lake Superior, so she still has snow. Snow is gone for me. And I'm trying to think if today is the last chance, or about the last that we think will have snow this year. But my snow is already melted. So, Abraham, this is a legitimate, well, I'm going to say a legitimate son of his, not the son of the promise. But from the standpoint of, we look at all of the sons of Jacob are legitimate sons by concubines, right? Jacob has 2 wives, 2 concubines. So concubine versus wife is a status standing, still legal as a wife, but not the same standing within the household, but all children are legitimate. So that's why I'm saying this would be a legitimate heir of his. And she's like, no, that son isn't going to be an heir. Abraham does not have to be obedient to that thought. He will not be an heir along with the son. Well, not an heir to the promise, but he could be an heir to the household. So, just like Esau and Jacob, one is an heir to the promise, another is an heir of the household. Okay. Sarah's demand displeased Abraham greatly because Ishmael was his son. So, when Abraham mentions his thoughts, the name is mentioned. When Sarah mentions, it's that slave's son. When Abraham's mentioned, it's my son Ishmael. The word was very wrong in the eyes of Abraham on account of his son, often refers to the morality or ethical evil. How about just displeasing? It displeased him. It was wrong in his sight to do this. But God said to Abraham, do not be upset about the boy and your slave wife. Do all that Sarah is telling you, because through Isaac your descendants will be counted. But I will also make the son of the slave wife into a great nation, for he is your descendant too. Okay, so Abraham's upset, and God says, go ahead and do what she is saying to do. Early in the morning, Abraham took... Oh, what do we got? Bum, bum, bum. Uncle Teddy with the sub. Thank you, Uncle Teddy. 14 months? Oh, my goodness, Uncle Teddy. I didn't realize we'd went over a year. Dude, that's awesome. Appreciate it, bro. It does remind me, I probably should look and see if I've got a new thing open for longer subs and followers. I need to go look at those in case I've got some new ones I can put in there. Okay. Early in the morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water and gave it to Hagar. He put them on her shoulders, gave her the child, and sent her away. Interesting, gave her the child. He's going to be like 13. I can get the mouse on there. Put her on his shoulders and put the boy, or perhaps with the boy, and sent her away. It's unclear how and the boy relates syntactically to what precedes. Perhaps the words should be rendered in the text, and he put them on her shoulder and gave to Hagar the boy. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Took some food, bread, although the term can be used for food in general. Okay. How much does he give her? How much does he give her? It's unknown. Early in the morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water. One skin of water? One skin of water is not a lot. Why is he only giving her minimal amounts of food? That's what it appears, like he's giving her a minimal amount. He is sending her away. That's what he was told by Sarah to do, to not give an inheritance to. Why doesn't Abraham give more? Soaring Eagle, welcome in. Why doesn't he give her, like, a donkey or something with supplies on it? Why doesn't Abraham send away, like, look at what he just got in the previous story. 1,000 silver donkeys, or not donkeys, sheep and goat, or sheep and cattle on behalf of Sarah. Why doesn't he send her away with more? That's my question. Why doesn't he send her away with more? Not necessarily wealth, but certainly some wealth to care for his son, but also provisions to make sure his son survives. Why doesn't he do that? So she went wandering aimlessly through the wilderness. The wilderness of Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she shoved the child under one of the shrubs. That's funny, shoved. Through, but the child, who was now 13 years old, would not have been carried, let alone thrown under a bush. The exaggerated language suggests Ishmael is limp from dehydration and being abandoned to die. Yes. So we've got Abraham is giving the child as if it is something to be carried, and now she's dropping him as if it's, yeah. Lady Bell, one skin of water held multiple drinks of water, and you can imagine the amount of food a 13-year-old boy can put away. I'm not yet there. Your oldest is soon to be 6. Yeah. Yeah, Lucis, maybe it's because he trusted God to provide. Yeah. But my point being, on the level of Abraham's wealth and abundance and his sorrow at having to send the child away, you would think he would have been more generous and more caregiving in that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he did anything wrong. And you're right. Maybe he trusted in what God said to not. But then why did he give food and water at all? You know, it's like you go the other way then. Well, and I think on some level, Soaring Eagle is maybe it's ashamed of them. Well, I don't know that he's ashamed, but Sarah is. And maybe he's ashamed that he's sending them away. Maybe he's ashamed that he's sending them away. He certainly doesn't want to, but God, it says, go ahead, let it happen. Okay. Under a shrub. Okay. So notice a parallel here. So Ishmael is under a tree. Ishmael is under a tree. Anything that's made of wood, you can just think of it as a tree. I know we distinguish between them differently. We could go look up what kind of tree, shrub it is. It does not matter. It's going to provide some kind of shade from the heat of the desert. Then she went and sat down by herself across from him at quite a distance, about a bow shot. It's quite an interesting thought, a bow shot. Why? A bow shot is the distance at which you are going to kill your prey. So she is going to be at the distance, and the son is now portrayed as a prey item, a sacrifice that she is making. Her son is going to be sacrificed here by this tree. For she thought, I refuse to watch the child die. So she sat across from him and wept uncontrollably. She lifted up her voice and wept. The LXX reads, referring to Ishmael rather than she. But this is probably an attempt to harmonize the verses with the following one, which refers to the boy's cries. Okay. Oh, yeah, because of Sarah's persistence. Yeah. No worries. Spelling isn't your cup of tea. Spelling is just a horrible, horrible game. I always got frustrated at teachers. Sound it out. It's spelled just like it sounds. If it was spelled like it sounds, I would have spelled it right. It's not spelled like it sounds. Okay. But God heard the boy's cries. Okay. Heard the boy's voice cry. The text has not, to this point, indicated that Ishmael was crying out, either in pain or in prayer. But the text here makes it clear that God heard him. Ishmael is clearly central to the story. Both the mother and the Lord are focused on the child's imminent death. So, just cry for help, okay, is all we need to think of. Yeah, it didn't like the word crazy, Soaring Eagle. I'm not a biggest fan of it either. I try not to use that anymore. Just implications on anyone with mental health. I try not to use it, but I know what you mean. Your auto not correct also thinks, what is this crazy woman trying to spell now? Yeah. So I have no problem with people using it on themselves. I do not like anyone using it to describe anyone else. Self-deprecation of terms doesn't bother me. Use on anyone else bothers me, no matter what the term is. Okay. No problem there, though. Okay. Okay, God heard the boy's voice. The angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and asked her, "What is the matter, Hagar? Don't be afraid, for God has heard the boy's voice right where he is crying. Get up, help the boy up, and hold him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation." Then God enabled Hagar to see a well of water. She went over and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So interesting. She is so close to water, and yet so close to death. I mean that as something still. Oh, I know what you meant. Not an actual like that. Oh, I know. But I'm just saying, I've just tried to be thoughtful of other people. Not that you weren't, but I'm just saying that's so when AutoMod is doing it, it's trying to mod it for bullying. So you weren't using it in a way that uses it that way. So I get you. Okay. So notice the parallel when we get further on. So Isaac is by a tree, and an angel shows up to intervene to rescue Ishmael here. I don't know if I said Isaac. Ishmael is under a tree. He's by some wood. He's under a bush, and he's about to die. And an angel shows up and intervenes, and the mother is able to save the boy because of the angel's intervention. When we get to the story of Abraham and Isaac, we have a very similar vein, where Isaac is about to die. He has brought the wood. There's your tree. He is by the tree. He is going to be sacrificed. Oh, and then an angel intervenes, and there is a ram in the thicket, another tree. So when you see trees, you see wood, you see items, bushes, hedges, whatever it is that can be made of wood that could be considered a tree. There is the tree of life and the tree of death. So Isaac is put under a tree, which is going to be a tree, or Ishmael is put under a tree of death. Isaac carries a tree of death with him up the mountain because he carries the wood. There is a ram in the thicket, the tree of life, which rescues him. And in Ishmael, you have the angel, you have a well. Don't know that the well has wood with it, but you have water of life there instead of the tree of life. So, parallels in these two stories. God was with the boy as he grew. He lived in the wilderness and became an archer. So we had an archer's distance away as where Mama is going to sit and not watch him die, face the other way and cry, and he becomes an archer. He lived in the wilderness of Paran. His mother found a wife for him from the land of Egypt. Why does Mom go to Egypt? Because she's an Egyptian. So Mom can find a wife in Egypt, probably among her relatives. Okay, we got ads coming in shortly. Let's check out the fish today.
Flatcap.
All right, so we got storms rolling in.
By the reeds. Fish pond
Or
calming,
blowing through. There could be some snow today there. I could get some snow today. The pond is looking good.
With Saxon hand.
And
Place
boy,
turns by his quiet
I need to
land.
figure out something better on the guppies.
Because
Because there's always a snail blurring it. Maybe I need to put the cam further away and you can see more of the tank, but not today. Not today. Yes, I could get snow today.
To the
Won't last.
of his song.
I don't even know. Well, it won't stay on the roads. It might stay on the ground if we got, any level of stuff, but probably not.
With his cam he shows it all. Little fish both big and small. Life in pond so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow. Hear the music, gentle glow. Flatcap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flatcap pasture shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. Refue's cami shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in pond so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow. Hear the music, gentle glow. Flatcap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home.
We back. Okay.
Watch the fish,
Sorry, I was
they
just checking
swim along
my phone.
to the rhythm.
So if you look over there, got a podcast later today at 2 p.m. So the plan today will be to go to 10 o'clock, do the workout stream for a half an hour, and then I will be over on the Church Digital channel for the podcast at 2 p.m. And then on Thursday, if you saw there's a podcast at 5 p.m. on the Church Digital. Got to go make a phone call, BRB? Okay. Tomorrow, and I should have made a flyer for this. I didn't think about it. Just looking at the schedule of what I have on my calendar. Wait a minute. Why is that not on there? Okay. Okay, so tomorrow morning is short stream because I have a meeting at 9 o'clock. I will be back after that. I'm trying to decide what time. Maybe I'll put a poll in. What time should I stream? That's what I'll do. I'll only put a poll in. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, not what I want to edit. I want to do a poll. Where's the poll? There's the poll. New poll. Stream time start. Okay, so do I start at 11? Do I start at 12? Do I start at 1 or do I start at 2? Okay, stream time start. Sewing stream. Okay, there we go. Start the poll. 10-minute poll. Okay. You're back? Okay. So, should be a poll incoming. What time should I start my sewing stream tomorrow? So, I am working on costumes for Reach Conference for cosplay, but I have an event in a week and a half. So, I need to have a costume ready for my event in a week and a half. So, what time should I start the sewing stream tomorrow? I do have the possibility of someone doing a phone call with me, so if I have to take that in the middle of the stream, should not be a big deal. We'll just delay and come back. But let me know what time, because I got other things I will work on. So, that didn't work. I spelled sewing wrong, and I didn't put a gap in there. Okay. That's kind of normal for me. So, what time to start sewing stream tomorrow? Let me know your thoughts on that. The length could go. Who knows how long? I have other things to work on, so it won't be a co-working stream. It'll be a sewing stream. So, you're usually up early. Hey, you're here. You get to vote, okay? Since I was thinking I could just flow right into it, but I forgot I have my Wednesday meeting tomorrow from 9 to 10:30, so it's a longer meeting. So, sewing from whatever, so I can work on some other VODs and stuff before then, other things I need to do. But whenever we start, I'll start sewing, and it will be a good long stream. It'll be my first sewing stream. I haven't done sewing in quite some time, so I think it's going to be fun. Okay. Back to our story. At that time, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, God is with you in all that you do. So remember, he went down into the Negev. It's in the Negev that they leave, and in the Negev they travel down to Egypt. Yeah, the poll is there. Maybe if you're on your phone, sometimes phone doesn't show poll. You might need to refresh. Yeah, sometimes poll doesn't work on mobile. That's what I was guessing too. But we got, it's a 10-minute poll, so you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. Like I said, I didn't make a flyer for it. I like making flyers for, hey, this is what I'm doing, because they're just a one-off. And I think I will still make one so that I can share it around other places. So whatever's whatever time. Okay, voted. Good. You got it. Okay. Whatever time happens, I'm gonna make a flyer for it. Okay. Okay. So Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, God is with you in all that you do. Now swear to me right here in God's name that you will not deceive me, my children, or my descendants. Show me and the land where you are staying the same loyalty I have shown you. So they're making him swear a promise here because they are fearful of his God. I want to know what Phicol means. What does Phicol mean? We're in 22. Might as well remind our names what Abimelech means. I think it is my God is king or something like that. Or my father is... Oh, am I not? Oh, 22. 21, 22. I'm in the wrong one. I saw the 22, thought I was in the next chapter. Melech is king. So my father is king, I think is his name. And Phicol. Yeah. Melech is king or my father is king. Yes. Oh, sorry. Melech is father or father is king. And Phicol. Phicol.
Strong's 86369. Pichol.
Strong.
Pichol.
Wasn't pronouncing him P. That was weird. Okay. So not only is it swear to me while I'm here, but to my children or my descendants, show me the same respect and loyalty I have shown you. I'm watching. Welcome in. Hey, there's a poll going on I'm watching. So make sure you get to vote in that. So I'm going to be doing a sewing stream tomorrow. Vote on what time for me to start, because I'll do the morning Bible for only an hour, and then I've got meeting at 9 o'clock. So what time should I come back and do the sewing stream? I might go do some other work and come back and do it. Otherwise, I can start the sewing stream, and we'll go from there. So I don't know how this is going to roll, but we're going to have fun with it. That's all I got to tell you. Okay. But Abraham said, I swear to do this. No object is specified. Okay. Sorry, Gail, you're thinking about doing an IRL here when you go food shopping shortly. Go for it. I would love to do IRL streams. I don't have good enough data. I'm in a national forest, and so what I would love to do is stream my bike rides. This is a long-term goal, so when, I finally get better data, is I get on my bike. This is a long-term goal, okay? So don't plan on this year. Maybe next year. We'll plan for the future. I get on my bike for a 6-8 hour ride, and you redeem in the chat which direction. You get to vote on a poll. In such and such, how many miles do I turn right, go straight, turn left? It's like you choose my adventure kind of a thing. And I got to get tech and equipment. So it's a long term. I would love to do this. I've had that vision. Still want to do it, but tech doesn't let me do that. You won't be available for any of those times, but you think 12 is good to work with people lurking at work. They may be able to join at lunch. Oh, okay. Well, if I start at the latest time, are you available later in the day? Are you streaming tomorrow? I never know people's stream times. I don't have them memorized. I wish I had more, and I want to do this. So don't hear me not saying I'm not going to. I wish I would plan to go on a regular basis and hang out for an hour in people's streams. I just currently don't have enough time to do that with the number of things I'm doing in ministry. Not really. You support 2 streamers usually on Wednesday, still getting used to you streaming on Wednesday. Oh, yeah, no problem. Well, my Wednesday is usually short, and then that's it. And Wednesday is usually my day of doing a lot of work. But I'm just going to do a one-off. Well, we'll see. Maybe that'll become a regular thing of me doing sewing streams, at least short term, because I got costumes to work on. So, yeah, it's just if you're able to and want to hang out. And also, I think the one-offs might attract new people. I don't even know if sewing's a category. I don't want to go under crafting, but I'll have to look at what category to name it. Okay. So Abraham swears to do this. But Abraham lodged a complaint against Abimelech concerning a well that Abimelech's servants had seized. I do not know who has done this thing, Abimelech replied. Moreover, you did not tell me. I did not hear about it until today. It's crafting? That's what I was thinking. But it's not really crafting. Sewing has its own thing, but maybe I'll have to do crafting. It'll get the right people to show up. So Abraham's like, well, I got a complaint against you. And Abimelech's like, dude, I didn't know. I didn't know. How was I to know? No, you never said anything. Okay, so we got 4 votes for 11 o'clock. Okay, so it would be early stream. That'll work. And if you and any mods ever, when I do one-off streams, aren't able to make it, I have no expectations that you need to make it. Excuse me. Or when I go do the church digital, if you mod for me here, I have no expectations that you mod over there. I'll give you mod privileges over there. So when you come over, you can serve as mod, but you don't need to. It's crafting. Okay. See you shortly. Yeah. So that'll be tomorrow. Poll should be ending. And it looks like the winner is 11 o'clock. Okay, so I'll make a flyer later today, post it up there. We'll be sewing stream tomorrow at 11 o'clock. You can always make a sewing tag. Twitch allows the freedom to tag words. That's a good idea. As long as it doesn't violate, terms of service. I don't know how sewing would, but okay. Abraham took some sheep and cattle and gave it to Abimelech. Oh, is this the same sheep and cattle that he was given by Abimelech? The 2 of them made a treaty, cut a covenant. Oh, sorry. I don't want you using treaty if the word covenant is usable, and that is the word in the translation because it's a different connotation in my mind than a treaty. A treaty serves me for today, and when I want to violate the treaty, I will. That's how I view treaties. Covenants, I have no intention to ever break a covenant because I'm committed to it. Like words that are threatening, racist, bullying language. Oh, yeah, I gotcha. Hey, Story! Welcome in, friend. How are you doing? Hope all is well for you. Then Abraham sent 7 ewe lambs apart from the flock by themselves. Abimelech asked Abraham, what is the meaning of the 7 ewe lambs that you have set apart? He replied, you must take these 7 ewe lambs from my hand as legal proof that I dug this well. That is why the name of the place was called Beersheba, because the 2 of them swore an oath there. The name Beersheba means well of the oath or well of 7. Both the verb to swear and the number 7 have been used throughout the account. Now then, they are drawn in a part explanation of the significance of the name. So, ooh, Story, you're playing Final Fantasy. Very nice. You're doing pretty well. Internet is a little spotty where you are, but wanted to at least say hi. I appreciate that. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Definitely hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm going to say, I don't know if you have plans on going to Nerd Culture Ministry Summit this year or not, or if you have plans on going to Reach Conference, but I am planning on going to both of those this year. Still haven't heard officially on Nerd Culture Ministry Summit. Oh, also, by the way, if you did not hear, anyone who's here, it did get announced with the workout streams that I'm doing the workout streams. Not that I had to stream them, but I needed to participate in the workouts. That I should have a ticket to Reach Conference to give away. So I'm going to let everyone in the channel know, and it'll happen after April 20. I've got to get more details. I want to limit qualifications for it. I don't want it just to be open. I want it to be someone who is a regular here. I want it to be someone who's been hanging out in the workout streams. I want it to be someone who does want to go to Reach and will be able to go to Reach if they have a ticket. Now, you'll still have to get your own transportation and lodging, but several of us, including myself, are working on doing Airbnb so we can bring the cost down for everybody going. So follower only, 1 year minimum. Yeah, that's a good thought. I don't, like I said, I've got to ask what I can do, and I don't know how to do that necessarily. I like that thought though. Of yeah, follower only for sure. And that doesn't mean you can just follow. Yeah. You're in Honduras now, so you'll be missing Reach this year. Okay. I wasn't sure if you went back or when you went back. So when you said the internet was spotty, I was guessing that. But I also don't know how often you come back. I tell you what, I am getting a growing number of people I know in Honduras. I might need to put it on my to-do list for the next year to get to Honduras. I can't see it happening this year, but I would love to plan. And I have a friend. I'm organized with. So you know the coffee. Let me see. Do I have it still? I don't remember what my. Yeah, more specifically, a follower that participates, because yeah, follower to support is not the same. Oh, I know. So Full Circle Beans is part of. Boy, I'm blanking on the name. I've got Blessing Boat stuck in my head because he's in Honduras. Warrior is. Resourcing Now. And I've gone to Guatemala and Belize with Resourcing Now. I used to be on the board. I stepped away from the board. Not that it was a lot to do. It was just like I just needed to step away from something. But I could go with them. This time you'll come back for a week in May and maybe a week in the fall. Okay. Cool. Okay, back to our text. Okay, legal proof. That is why the name of the place is called Beersheba, because the two swore an oath there. So they made a treaty at Beersheba, and Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, returned to the land of the Philistines. Okay, there aren't Philistines yet, necessarily. Philistines mentioned here may not be ethnically related to those who lived in Palestine in the time of the Judges and in United Monarchy, Philistines people, the Old Testament. So it's just saying the region where they are is where the Philistines end up. That's where they end up. Oh, you're in language school. Very cool story. It is something that I have occasionally bumped into, but never ended up moving in that direction. Yeah, Warrior Light doesn't, but he's over there, which blows your mind how he can communicate. Well, yeah, there's that. Hey, thank you for the fruit. What'd I get? Oranges. Actually, that oranges sound really good. Oh, and the Stroop waffle. Woo! You know what I was thinking is maybe I need to shift up the from a dozen to 10 to a dozen cookies. That would be fun. A lot of people speak English here due to the relationship with the U.S., and it's easy to do basic things. Cool. Okay. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba. There he worshiped the Lord, the eternal God. So Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines for quite some time. Okay. So he plants a tamarisk tree. The planting of a tamarisk tree is a sign that Abraham intended to stay there for a long time, not a religious act. A growing tree in the Negev would be a lasting witness for God to provide for God's provision of water. Okay, one of the other things is this goes culturally to what a tree planting does. You plant a tree that is going to be for generations after you, because planting a tree will not give you shade. The planting of a tree will not give you shade. Okay, this is going to mess up the. But give me this just a second here. I'm going to pan the camera here. Let me find the right one. Okay.
Streaming life by the reeds.
Oh, I need to switch that to one. Just a second.
Fish pond calm and glassy clear.
And let's move the camera around. Come on, there we go.
Dapper man with sax in hand plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar and
okay, you can see that tree. You know what? I can zoom in on it too.
Watch the fish, they swim along.
I planted that tree 7 years ago. 7 years ago. That is a dogwood tree. That tree is years away from giving me any shade. I planted. Oh, I gotta scroll here. Apparently a little more. Nature's beauty on a screen. Okay, I planted well, I guess I'll use this one. Right there. Oh, is that it? Yeah, the tree's in the way. I mean, and right there. So I've got two maple trees at the edge there. You can see they're in line with other trees. That's hard to make that you able to see them. I planted those two maple trees like 4 years ago at least, maybe 5 years ago. I will get no maple syrup from those trees for years to come, let alone shade from those trees. They provide no shade for me. I plant those trees for the future for someone else to enjoy. So the maple trees are planted to enjoy sap and shade, and the dogwood to enjoy the beauty of the dogwood tree and shade. So when the dogwood is big and can provide shade, I can cut down the oak tree that is currently big and can provide shade. So when you plant a tree, you are not planting it for yourself. If you're planting it for shade, you are planting it for someone who comes behind you, often thinking of your children, your grandchildren. You've already occasionally changed your original command wording. Please keep it a dozen. What do you mean I changed it? It was a dozen. What did I change? I had to change it to get it to work because it didn't work in StreamerBot. Or, sorry, StreamBot. No. Which one is it? Streamlabs. It didn't work in Streamlabs. I had to alter it to work in Streamlabs. I only altered it to get it to work. Oh, I guess I did add a cookie or two. Yeah, please keep it a dozen. Yep. I will. I was just teasing. Also, by the way, I did get commands. So I'm now able to add new commands in places for the fish pond and or the church digital. So I'm excited about that. I got bots. I've got alerts. We'll see if they work. Well, the thing is, I had alerts before my computer crashed, and I had to rebuild everything. You know what I'm thinking I should do is actually save my profile and make sure I've got that saved. Save it to the cloud. Okay. Artsy Bible Nerd, welcome in. Sorry you are late. It's all right, friend. You're here when you're here. We don't take attendance over here. Okay. On to chapter 22. Sometime after these things, God tested Abraham. Okay. So the Hebrew verb used here means to test, to try, to prove. In this passage, God tests Abraham to see if he would be obedient. Okay. So the idea of testing is to see what the result will be. So you test something to verify it. So if I have gold or silver, I test it to see its purity. So I test it to see what it is, what it's made of. So testing is not pass-fail. Testing is to reveal something. So that's the idea of testing. Tempting, however, is intended to bring about failure. So tempting by the devil, tempting by demons, tempting by someone else is intended to get you to fail. Testing is intended to just find out the reality and the truth of something. Lady Bell, you just looked up the tree type. It does well in heat waves, frigid winters, and is incredibly invasive. It can change the entire climate and even absorb salt in the soil. Really pretty wispy white and pink flowers. Which one did you look up? The dogwood, or were you looking up the tamarack tree? Because I did not know that the dogwood could absorb salt in the soil. That's interesting. But yeah, dogwoods are white or pink. The tamarack tree. Okay, that's why I was like confused, because I was thinking you were looking up tamarack, and then you said white and pink flowers, which is what a dogwood has. So mine is the white one, but the pink ones are really pretty. But the white ones grow a bit faster. So if I got a second one, I also have a cherry tree, not a cherry tree that produces cherries, but a cherry blossom type tree for just the flowers that are pink. So, so I went with the white dogwood. Okay, so sometime later after these things, you just bought and planted 4 dogwood trees, 2 pink and 2 white. Ooh, that's awesome. Had a dogwood tree when I was a kid that was gorgeous, huge, big dogwood tree, and I liked to climb it. And there was a problem, though. I often got ticks from climbing the tree. They were on that tree for some reason and or around it. So after 2 or 3 of those, I got banned from climbing the tree. But that was a pink dogwood. It was gorgeous. Had to be like 50 years old or more. Okay. They knew it was a dogwood? I had never thought of that, Artsy. That is hilarious. The dogwood tree had ticks on it because it was a dogwood. Oh, that's hilarious. I never put that together. Okay. So God is going to test Abraham. Testing is to reveal something. That's what it is. Reveal your character, reveal your knowledge, reveal your understanding, reveal what you will do. That's the idea of a test here. It's not pass-fail. It's to reveal. Abraham said to him, test Abraham. He said to Abraham. He said to him, Abraham. See, this is really worded poorly. I would have put Abraham replied instead of here I am, because I'm reading the Abraham, here I am. And like, it's confusing me. Okay. Or would have put Abraham, he said to him. Here I am, Abraham replied. God said, take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah. Take your son, Isaac. The instructions are very clear, but the details are deliberate. With every additional description, the command becomes more challenging. Go to the land of Moriah. There's been much debate over the location of Moriah. I don't care about the location of Moriah. What does the name mean? Moriah. Go to the land of Moriah. Moriah. Okay.
Strong's
Oh, yeah, I'll
H,
go back to your only son,
4179.
yes.
Moriah.
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 Chosen
Second
by
entry.
God.
Moriah. Moriah.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating.
Third entry. Moriah. Moriah.
Okay. Go to the place chosen by God. Wait a minute. Abraham, you were chosen by God, and you will go to the land I will show you, the land that I chose for you. So now you are going to the chosen by God. You're going to the land chosen by God. This is all, like, the name of the place is tied up in the promise to Abraham. The name of the place is tied up in it. Yes, your only son. What do we have there for only? Thine only son, Yahid. Yahid.
Strong's H, 3173. Yahid. Yahid.
Okay, so it can mean only, it can mean one, it can mean unique or solitary. So since the other son is sent away, it could be that it is the only son you currently still have because the other son has been sent away. It can be your unique son because he is the son of the promise. He is the unique son. So there are lots of different ways that we can do that. Whom you love. Okay, which word for love is it? Ahab. Oh, interesting. It is Ahab love, not Hesed love. Interesting. Human love for one another indicates family love. Human love for God. Act of being a friend. So it is not Hesed love. It's Ahab love. Interesting. Okay. So take your son, your only son, whom you love. Like, look at the compounding. Your son, the only one, the one of the promise, the one you love, Isaac. Like, if I can't make it any more clear, take your son, that'd be Isaac. Your only son, yes, Isaac. Whom you love, that's Isaac. Oh, yes, Isaac. Like, look at, like, 4 different things to just say, take Isaac. Go to the land of God has chosen. Offer him up there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I will indicate to you. A whole burnt offering signified the complete surrender of the worshiper and complete acceptance by God. The demand of human sacrifice was certainly radical and may have seemed to Abraham out of character with God. Maybe not, because other nations around would have done this, so let's not read into that assumption, which I will say to you. Oh, indicate to you. Okay. Okay. So let me grab my book a minute here. One of the things I have heard from time to time is the length of travel that this would have taken actually seems like Abraham was dragging his feet to get there. Okay, so I don't find Moriah on this map. And he was in Beersheba. I found Beersheba. And then it says he goes to the Philistine country. Dun, 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 dun. There's Mamre. Not what we're looking for. Okay. That looks like I'm moving into the next section there. Journey of the Spies. Okay, Patriarchs in the Promised Land. Abraham in the Promised Land. Why did I not have Moriah? Where is Moriah? Not finding Moriah. Okay. Okay, I like looking at my physical map. So, okay. Let's look at let's see what they have. Moriah. Oh, so here there's much debate over the location. Okay, so that's why you're not showing me. Okay, well then I'm not going to bother to look it up. Okay, one of the mountains I will show you. So Moriah is more of a mountain range. Early in the morning, Abraham got up and saddled his donkey. Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey. Okay, why did you need it? All right, whatever. He took 2 of his young servants with him, along with his son Isaac. When he had cut the wood for the burnt offering, he started out for the place God had spoken to him about. So 2 servants and Isaac and a donkey, assuming the servants possibly have them as well as Isaac. On the 3rd day, Abraham caught sight of the place in the distance. So he said to his servants, "You 2 stay here with the donkeys while the boy and I go up there. We will worship and then return to you." What's the word for worship here? To bow ourselves close to the ground. Okay. And return to you. It is impossible to know what Abraham was thinking when he said, "We will return to you." When he went, he knew that he was to sacrifice Isaac and that God intended to fulfill his earlier promise through Isaac. How he reconciled the 2 facts is not clear. Hebrews suggests that Abraham believed that God could restore Isaac to him through resurrection. But we don't know that from Hebrews yet. So, we have 3rd day. The 3rd day. How often does the 3rd day show up in places? Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and put it on his son Isaac. Then he took the firewood and the knife in his hand, and the 2 of them walked on together. Isaac said to his father Abraham. The Hebrews account sounds like typology. Oh, very true. Very true. It does sound like typology. Especially when I believe Hebrews is applying it to other places. So, yeah. Okay. Isaac said to his father Abraham, "My father." "What is it, my son?" he replied. I do not like the way that they're putting this. The 2 phrases are together and not interrupted by the one person talking. So, "My father, what is it, my son?" I have to know to pause there, but anyway. "Here is the fire and the wood," Isaac said, "but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" "God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son," Abraham replied. The 2 of them continued on together. God will provide a central theme of the passage and the turning point of the story. Note Paul's allusion to the story in Romans 8:32. How shall he not freely give us all things? Okay. When they came to the place God had told him about, Abraham built the altar there. They also didn't have the rocks for the altar either, so they've got to gather up the rocks to build the altar and arrange the wood on it. Next, he tied up his son Isaac and placed him on the altar on top of the wood. He tied him up. The text has given rise to the important theme of Judaism known as akwada, from the Hebrew word to bind. When sacrifices were made in the sanctuary, God remembered the binding of Isaac, for which a substitute was offered. Interesting. Okay, so Abraham had a son at 100 years old. This son, we don't know how old he is at this point. We have not been told. But this son could have fought back. We don't know what is said to him. I mean, we know what's said on the way up the mountain. The son is observing and saying, hey, where's the sacrifice? And he says, God will provide. So what does he get to the top of the mountain say? I see nothing that God has provided. I guess that means it's you. Now, a lot of people push back against this story about God wanting a sacrifice. The nations around did often practice child sacrifice. So God doesn't want that. And part of the story is telling people that God doesn't want it because God rejects it when it gets to the end of having actually had and received the sacrifice. Okay, let's just see how that plays out. And then the placing him on the altar also makes him sound like a sacrifice. Just the same way that Ishmael is an object that is placed under a tree, next to a tree, under wood, under a shrub. Isaac is placed on wood, on top of the wood, an item to be placed there, a sacrifice. Then Abraham reached out his hand, took his knife, and prepared to slaughter his son. Hey, Samarella, welcome in, friend. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven. Exact same phrasing that we have in the other passage. An angel calling from heaven to Hagar about Ishmael. Now an angel of God calling from heaven. These two stories are next to each other because we're supposed to parallel them. Abraham, Abraham, he answered, here I am. Do not harm the boy, the angel said. Do not do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, because you did not withhold your son, your only son, from me. Okay, so Abraham is going to go through with it. Abraham does not know that God is going to intervene here. He is going to do this because he has learned to trust and obey God. The test is to see whether he trusts and obeys God. Now I know that you fear God. That God is the thing that you're going to be obedient to. Abraham looked up and saw behind him a ram caught in the bushes by the horns. Was it there before, or did it just happen in this event? Like, does he turn around because he heard noise there now? Was it there all along, or did it suddenly come in and get caught? I think it was there all along, because if a ram just got caught and you're going to go over to it immediately, it's going to have a lot of energy. I think it was there, and it was tired, and he didn't notice it before. So he went over and he got the ram and he offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. So he went up to worship. He's going to do the thing he set out to do. God doesn't tell him to offer the burnt offering here instead of his son. Abraham chooses to do that. And Abraham called the name of the place, the Lord Provides. So it was called Moriah. Now it's called the Lord Provides. It is said on this day, in the mountain of the Lord's provision will be made. until the day, on this day, the saying connected with these events has some ambiguity, which was probably intended. The Nephil form can be translated the mountain of the Lord. It will be seen, provided, or the mountain of the Lord will appear. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. If it's the latter, on the mountain of the mountain of the Lord will appear. If it's mysterious where the mountain is, that could play into it. Poex, good morning all. Hey, Pastor, quick question. You know never changes, but the Old Testament, you feel a punishment was pretty harsh for, of course, deserving. But do you think God did this to show how desperate we need Jesus? Yeah, God never changes. Okay. There are places where people feel that the punishments are severe in the Old Testament, but I don't necessarily know that I think that they're severe. Just a second. In fact, often there's more mercy shown than there is punishment, and I think we have people who overplay the punishment in the Old Testament because they have a messenger thing. Sorry, I'm going to get a cough drop. Suddenly got a really tickle in my throat. So I don't know that I think that there's the punishment in the Old Testament is severe. I know there are people who think that the Old Testament God is an angry God, but they're missing a whole bunch of where God delivers his people out of Egypt, where God is patient and long-suffering when they worship other gods, that he's there with Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, with Daniel, with Jonah. There's so many different places, like God spares Nineveh. So if God is an angry, vicious God, then when Abraham comes through the land, they should have gotten destroyed instead of waiting 400 years for their sin to continue to increase before Moses comes and the time of conquering the land comes. If God is angry, vicious, vengeful God, he wouldn't allow for them to potentially change. So, I don't know that it's more severe, but yeah, there definitely is a pointing to and working towards Jesus in the New Testament. So, Samarilla, you have a question, but you don't know if it'll be taken a different way. Like, I don't want it to sound like political or anything. Okay. Well, go ahead and ask Samarilla. Okay. The angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven after he sacrifices the ram and said, I solemnly swear by my own name, decrees the Lord, that because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will indeed bless you, and I will greatly multiply your descendants so that they will be as countless as the stars in the sky, which you've heard before, and the grains of the sand of the seashore, which you've heard before. Your descendants will take possession of the strongholds of their enemies because you have obeyed me. All the nations on earth will pronounce blessing on one another using the name of your descendants. Oh, that is fascinating. I don't remember that. They will pronounce blessings on each other or will be blessed. Okay. But by using the name of your descendants. That's cool. I don't think I noticed that. Okay. So, because you have done this. Okay, where is that? Yeah. Because you have done this. So we feel like God made a promise. He has to stick to it. And Abraham doesn't have to. No, Abraham has continued to show loyalty and has continued to be connected to God. He is still showing loving kindness and worshiping only God and God alone. And because you are obedient and you continue to practice obedience, you continue to live out obedience because you've done that, that's why I'm going to continue to do and carry out the things I promised. So there is a continuation thing, not like, hey, I can just stop following God and do my own thing. I can go worship the Baal and the Ashtoreth and do all of that and still have God's promises be fulfilled. No, because you are continuing to live out in obedience. Continue to have loving loyalty for God. Okay. Oh, no cap. Okay. All right, Samuel, let's see what your question was. You heard there's a specific things about marriage that's been spoken in the Bible, and when you ask about it, it's either seen as political or you're going against religious beliefs. So, oh, okay. Not everyone agrees on what those things say, and I think that they are often misused, and then people beat other people up with that. So, if you're talking about in Ephesians, where wives must submit to their husbands, we also have in Ephesians right before this, every believer needs to submit to one another. So that also means that husbands need to submit to their wives, because your wife is a believer, you need to submit to her. And what people use that to actually mean is subjugate your wives. That's how they read it, and that's how they apply it, and that can't be, because mutual submission is yielding, giving up your rights. It doesn't mean the husband gets to lord it over the wife, and that's how people apply it. See, it says submit, wives, you have to. Yeah, and it says husbands, love your wife. So if you're forcing your wife to submit, that's not love. If you get the deciding vote when it's a tie, that's not love. So husbands who are always the one who has the tie-breaking vote are not acting in love. Those who are lording it over their wives are not acting in love. So let's work on the love your wife part, and let's forget about the wives having to yield thing. The radical part of that whole section is that wives would actually have the ability in there to do some things that the culture of the time wouldn't allow wives at all to have. The radical thing is husbands, love your wives. There is nothing in the Old Testament, there is nothing in Greek or Roman culture that expected a husband to love their wife. The radical thing is husbands to love wives. That's the radical thing. Let's focus on that. Let's do that. So I'm assuming that's probably where you've heard things. And then it does fall into politics, because people want to impose their interpretation of the Bible on the world around them. I don't think we're called to impose on anybody. We're called to live out what Jesus said and what Jesus taught. So, okay. Samarella, should marriage and relationships with a person should only be between a man and a woman? Can a woman be still welcomed into God's place even if she doesn't believe in any sort of relationship? Oh, Paul talks about celibacy, if that's what you mean. Don't believe in any relationship. Yes, the necessity to be married is not a requirement. There are plenty of people who Paul is encouraging to not marry. And in the early church, there were a couple of prominent lines of women who did not get married. But if you're talking same-sex relationship, that is a hot-button political issue. I have my own opinions on that, and I'd rather just love everybody and leave that up to God than to go around trying to impose what I think, or when I might be wrong. So, Poe, it also have a personal question for the pastor, so if you don't feel comfortable answering, totally get it. You just need some guidance on the subject. Is a Calvinist new view correct or incorrect, and which one do you hold to more? Okay, I'll come back to that. Let me see if Samarella added anything. Paul the Dude! Shalom, Pastor. Your first time seeing you without a cap. Well, we had to redeem for that. So, Samarella, if I didn't fully answer your question, let me know. So I certainly can work to try to do that. Okay. Head pants for the fancy bottled water. Ooh. Okay. Calvinism. I am Calvinist. You know what I don't care? If you're a Calvinist. Don't care. Just because someone is doesn't mean that they believe the same thing that I do. There are many people who disagree in other places about different things. So Calvinism is not designed for, hey, let me persuade you to come to God because I believe these things. No, certainly not a salvation issue. No, because if it was a salvation issue, then how would Paul have been saved because he had never met Calvin? So, Calvinism, Luther, Zwingli, any other form of systematic theology is only intended to help us understand what God has done. They all have problems with them. They all have points, like they take scriptures to support them, and they either downplay or overrule passages that disagree with them. So I would say, yeah, I'm a Calvinist. I'm more concerned with what do we have in this passage? How would the original audience understand it? Whether that pokes holes in what I believe or doesn't. Discum mix. Why do you call me Lord and not do the things I say? And as Sarah obeyed Abraham, called him Lord, and you are her children, if you do good, the husband is supposed to have the deciding vote. The husband could even void oaths made by his wife simply by his declaration. Well, simply because they could doesn't mean that's what Ephesians is talking about. Discum. And we can disagree on it. I don't have a problem with people disagreeing on it. The word submit doesn't give the husband the right to nullify a vote, because in the previous passage, every believer is called to submit to every other believer. So then who would have the final vote? We have ads coming in, and we're going to go to workout here shortly. So.
Flatcap pastor rocks his tweed, streaming life by the reeds. Fish pond calm and glassy clear, view it all right from here.
Okay, so we are in
Dapper man
22:19.
with sax in hand, plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flatcap pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. With his cam he shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in pond so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flatcap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flatcap pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. Refuse Cammy shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in pond so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flatcap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm
Not sure why. Usually if I put it on default, it would flip back and forth no matter what my mic was. Now it's not wanting to do that. Okay. Cat Jam, Supersonic, welcome in, friend. Okay. Okay, then again, Sarah, Lucis says, had a lot to say about Hagar and son. Even if Abraham didn't like it, he did it with God's blessing. Oh, true. Yeah. So Sarah has the say over Hagar the whole time. Send her away the first time. You do what you want. And then later with the sending her away again. Poe, you understand Calvinism and you'd be on board, but the thing that keeps you away is Judas has the same power as other disciples and had a spot in heaven until God removed him from the book of life. For me, it seems all are predestined to heaven, but can choose to not follow Christ. I don't know, it's confusing but we know God is good. So, the thing is it depends on how do you understand that part. And frankly, I don't know that we're going to understand. It is a human perspective trying to explain how God does things. So, yeah. And maybe Judas wasn't counted among them. He was counted, but he actually wasn't one of them. And then that's where it's like, so you're just going to explain that a person really wasn't a person who followed Jesus, even though he physically followed Jesus. He didn't have his heart in it. He had different things. So the perseverance of the saints is not intended to be a once saved, always saved. I've heard lots of people say it is. It's not. It means no one can pluck you out of the Father's hand. That's what it means. And when someone does go astray, we look at the parable of the seeds that come up, and those seeds that come up, some look like they're good, and then the trials of life choke them out, or the sun comes and scorches it. So you've got all kinds of different ways to look at it. But I don't frankly know. But anyway. Yeah, you don't read lips. 12. But if her husband makes them null and void on the day that he hears them, then whatever proceeds out of her lips concerning her vows and concerns her pledge and herself shall not stand. Her husband has made them void. Saying the wife does not need to obey the husband completely is like saying you don't need to obey Jesus completely. Where's the passage that says wives obey your husbands? I don't know that passage. That's what I'm missing here. Okay. So let me get this up so I can see what we're doing. I can't see it. Okay. I'm happy to continue the conversation, but will be hard as I go to work out. Oh, which I need to change what I'm doing here. Sorry, I did not do that already. Yeah, 10:02. Sam, you can read lips. Okay. All right, let's pray. God, we're just praying for workers for the harvest, for you to send them all out into the harvest, in digital spaces specifically, where there are people lost and lonely and need the light of your Son, Jesus, there. So we're praying for that, asking you to do this in Jesus' name, and bless all our friends who are already there. Give them strength and courage and hope, and that they may spread your word and your love wherever they go. Pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. Wives, obey your husband, Lord. Okay. Sorry. I thought we were talking about the word submit, so that's why I was... okay, I'll have to go look at that, what word it's actually used there and how that word is used elsewhere. My point being is the word submit is usually applied as subjugate, which means, which does not mean that you are loving. And we are to submit one to another too. So I don't know if we're doing weights, what we're doing. I don't see. There we go. He finally turned his cam on. I saw other people's cams on. How do you think I could understand you, Pastor? You need ear implants to hear how VTubers talk or their conversations, but mostly you can hear things just like everyone else. You said you could read lips. That's what I was going off of. Wow. 10 pounds seems heavy on the arms today. Whew. No, I didn't pre-stretch. I don't ever pre-stretch. Pre-stretching is not a necessity. Stretching afterwards is a necessity. So you don't have to pre-stretch. It's not a have-to thing. But I am gonna stretch this just a little bit. It feels tight. Ah, you had partial deafness and can read lips. Mostly your conversation is with singing. Yeah. Sorry, just stretching it because they were feeling tight as I was lifting. Oh, I can barely make that to 8. That is so heavy there, it seems. Okay. Turning that down, I think it was probably a little loud when I go there, and I didn't turn on any background music, so let me do that so that while I'm doing nothing, you can at least have some music. And we turn that down. Oh, signing, not singing. Okay, signing like sign language. No, they're not suggesting weights. They're. If I go to the 5 pounds, they're nothing, and there are a set of 8 pounds upstairs that I could have grabbed, but I did not. Oh. Okay, so now we're going back, so I'm going to try the 15 pound. See, different moves I can do different weights. Whew. You're a little jealous of me and I'm watching? What? Okay. Vows are very serious to God. Remember the Gibeonites tricked the Israelites? Yeah, exactly. Even though it meant disobeying, God told them not to make treaties. He made the vow stand. It's a vow. Yeah, I totally agree. And for a husband to be able to override, that shows tremendous control. Don't agree with that part though. Where is the vow to override someone? Yeah, vows are very important. Totally agree with that. Okay. Numbers 30. Okay. You'll be back in a few? Okay. Check on someone else? Absolutely. Go check on them. Whew, behind my back, that is, the 15 is getting heavy, so I'll switch to the 10. Switch to the 10. Whew. So okay, that looks like it's really not playing much. Maybe turn it up. There we go. Okay, it goes all the way to the curse. The curse is not what we want to live under. The curse is what we need to live against. And your husband shall rule over you is not a command of God. It is the circumstance of a fallen world. So we should not be trying to live out the curse. We are under Christ. We should not be under the curse. That was not God's original intent. That is not how we should live in Christ. Ooh, these are getting heavy. Getting pour on them. No one should rule over anyone. Husbands shouldn't be able to control their wives. It's treating women as property instead of equals, which they are. Astral Selly is, I can't quite see. Astral Selly, is that what it is? Hey, thank you, coming in. Agree with you. No one, because we are to submit to one another, yield to one another. Just Astra? Okay, thank you. Okay. And welcome in, by the way. Thank you. We're doing workouts with a group that are going to be at Reach Conference, a bunch of streamers. We're over on Discord. A few of us are streaming it. Not all of us are. And not everyone could participate. So. Oh. Another hard question. Are you on soul sleep or present at the Lord's side? Oh, okay. Short answer on that is there's several passages that say to be absent from the Lord is, or absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. And also Jesus telling the thief on the cross, you'll be with me in paradise. So on that side, I lean towards immediacy versus soul sleep. But I don't know what passages the soul sleep side looks at. So I don't have an answer for the... Because I like to talk about both sides or multiple sides of what people believe. Because people don't come up with these things because they're trying to misinterpret Scripture. It is how they are seeing things in the passage that lead them to believe those things. They get harder as I go there. So the other thing I usually say is I'm convinced that 80% of what I believe is 100% right. The problem is I don't know which is the 80% and which is the 20%, which is why I think we should engage in conversations, encouraging one another, sharing what we believe, sharing how we see it in the text, not worrying about any point of here's what this theology teaches and that's what I believe, so I have to agree with it, but saying, what do I see? What is the Holy Spirit convicting of me? What do we share in conversations together with other believers? And trusting that God can handle us having multiple opinions about things. That's weird. All of a sudden I'm getting it back in my earbud. So I muted on there, but I was somehow coming through. Thoughts on people using religion? Well, okay. If my religious beliefs, no matter what my religious beliefs, lead me to vote one way or another, I'm fine with it. If they call me to impose my beliefs on everyone else in society, that is totally not what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to go and change the government. We are supposed to go and love people. We are supposed to go and spread the good news of the kingdom of God, which is not of this world. So why would I spend my time focused on the government of this world when I am a citizen of heaven? Oh, those were so hard. Okay. So I don't care what the issue is. I'm not in favor of imposing my beliefs on anyone else. I will vote possibly what I think is best, and you might vote against me what you think is best, and we can be in disagreement and we can still be in relationship and should still love one another. Since I like the hard questions. Eternal death after fire and pain. I don't think I've ever heard that view. What I have heard is annihilation versus eternal punishment. So yeah, I don't know of like something after the lake of fire. Mostly it's the lake of fire is eternal, but there's the verses about the smoldering from it. I'm not sure exactly, and I don't think that it matters. And I did see part of your discum there. It's just a long path thing to read. So, okay, in the same way, we are under the curse of Genesis. We all still die. You're redeemed from the curse after you die. See, and I think we're redeemed from the curse because Jesus is resurrected. We still live in a world that's cursed, but I do not have to live under the curse. That thoughtful answer. The state of everything right now is awful. You feel awful for those who are being infected by things that humans' rights. Yeah. The other thing is if I see something is wrong, I should go work on fixing it, not try to get the government to do the things. Now, if the government's doing harm, I certainly might, because I live in a place where I can try to get the government to stop doing harm. I certainly could do that. Like, for instance, I would love to get plastics, although I have a whole bunch of water bottles here. I would love to get plastics out of the world because we're contaminating the environment and people. But I don't believe that that's a religious thing. I believe, I mean, I could go from a religious perspective and say, since Adam was called to be stewards of the planet, that we're called to be stewards of the planet. Since we're created in the image of God, we should love and care for everyone in the image of God. And if we are allowing people to harm people for profit, that seems counter to that. But okay.
Mom Oregon just followed.
All right, Mom Roar again. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Anybody that is following along, appreciate you. If you're working out, if you're just watching, appreciate you. We're doing 30-minute workouts right now. We did the first 30 days. We're 20 minutes. The next 30 are 30 minutes, and then we'll be shifting to 40 minutes. And I think we just crossed over the halfway point. So we've got 45 days down. Whew. I don't know what the next exercise is. All right, I'm gonna try the one I don't usually do, which is the fly. I don't know if I can do it with 10-pound weights, but I've usually skipped that one, so all right, there's set one. A hat slides off as I sit on the, or lay on the ground. All right, there's set two. I'm gonna get a drink. We gotta pause a little between. Supersonic, catch him. Thank you for answering your question. Respect that. And since you're a minister, it's harder for you to be open because it can risk people over other perspectives not watching. For me, you love the theological debates and actually helps you grow. I totally agree that we should have these conversations, but what I don't think we should do is say, if you disagree with me, you're wrong. And I'll give you the reason why. All of the scholars, all of the people who studied the Bible before Jesus came, including his disciples who followed him for 3 years, did not understand his death, burial, and resurrection until afterwards. So no matter how much they studied, no matter how much time they spent with Jesus, they couldn't fully understand and see the plan of God until after it had been revealed. Why would I think that nowadays we're smart enough to have figured everything out? I don't think we are. In my arrogance, self-righteousness, and pride, I might claim that. So I enjoy having the discussions. So I hope I don't ever come across as being arrogant with my answers or dismissive of anyone's questions. Okay, got 2 more sets of these. I know you can see me partially. I don't know how good, but okay, I can't do those with larger weights. I've only got a 20 and a 25, or sorry, I've only got 25s after this. I have a 15 and a 20, but I can't do both sets. And this feels like one of those where you need both sets and not just one arm, so, okay. All right. And I also realize too, when you're trying to type things, I'm at the advantage for being able to explain things, and you are at the disadvantage. So sometimes I misinterpret what you type, I misread what you type, and I apologize if I ever misrepresent what you've tried to type and say. So, Supersonic, we will never figure out everything. We will learn and grow, but never fully understand the fullness of God and his love. I totally agree. The Rocky music is an interesting idea, but I don't want to get DM strike there, Discum. But appreciate you hanging out and having part of the conversation. I haven't been as good carrying it out while working out as if you and I were just in a video call together. We would have probably a richer conversation that way. Do you stream, Discum? You don't? Okay, okay. My wife messaged me, she's in the airport, so she made it from one flight to the next. You can't stop seizing T-Rex? Sorry about that. You just got banned from who, Discum? Oh, from streaming? You got banned from streaming? You finished an almost mile hike walk. Awesome, friend. All right, last set. Oh, okay. Oh, I guess tomorrow's halfway, not today. Okay. Today's halfway. Or tomorrow. Yeah, well, I appreciate that you back it up with scripture, because then we can talk about the same thing, as opposed to just saying whatever, whoever said it, whatever pastor, whatever book. I do appreciate that. I will have to go look at Numbers 30. I think that's what you said, Numbers 30. You've got Discum 3, 4, 5 on standby. Okay, we're stretching. We're stretching. Definitely need to stretch these arms out today. I think I'm going to have to roll out shoulders today. Feels like a roll out shoulders day. You are very obliging, though. That's good. I'm okay with thinking differently. You think how you want, and if I want that right, I need to give it to exactly. I only have the right to what I think and believe. Well, the other thing I've figured out a long time ago is that I am the only one that 100% thinks the way I think. For me to expect anyone else to think the way I think will never happen. Because they haven't had my experiences. They don't have the lens that I look through. They don't have my personality. They don't have my giftingness. So no one is going to agree with me on 100% of my faith, let alone 100% of anything in life. So long as we agree, and I'm saying this to as far as faith goes, but everyone is welcome in the channel, regardless of what you believe. What I'm saying is, as long as I'm focused on Christ is the centrality of my faith, and I'm pursuing following after Jesus and loving my neighbor and loving God, and I figure out how to do that out, you have the freedom in your conscience to do the same thing. And we are better together when we do that. And those who are not Christian, who hang out here, I appreciate you all the more, because at least you think and you see me as holding a space that is valuable, holding a space that is loving, so that you are welcomed no matter what you believe. That's what's important to me. I'm gonna get some leg stretching here. No, we didn't work out legs, but oh, you know what? I actually just watched a video on a new stretch. Let me try this out. You say instead of doing the one I was just doing, to do this. So he also said get a pillow under your knee, which I did not do. So this is stretching out my back leg in the same way. And then he said you can do this and stretch out your... Oh my goodness, that hurts. Okay, I'm gonna have to get a pad down here on the ground if I'm gonna do these. I usually do these in the other room when I get off my pillow, because I do have a pad on the ground over there. Oh, I feel that. Okay, can't do that. My knees are keeping me from doing the stretch. They hurt too much. Dangle your noodles, quote, Crazy Berry Town. I don't know that. She was whole stream about taking care of your body by stretching and relaxing. Oh, cool. Oh, you like the, here, let me show you a little more. It is a mesh hat. These are really cheap hats that I have for workouts, for going to the beach, to get wet, and waterproof and breathable and all those things. Okay. Trying to think. Oh, I do have something at 11. So, all right. Well, thank you all for hanging out with me. Let me go back over here just because I've got them on this slide. So, Thursday, I'm doing a podcast with Mother Goose. Today, I'm doing a podcast with Wordy Girl. I need to switch glasses. With Wordy Girl at 2 p.m. And that's over on the Church Digital channel. What do you say? You want those? Can you send the link, please? Oh, yeah, I can do that. These I just got off of Amazon. They're just cheap hats. I think I paid... for the whole pack of like a dozen hats was like $20. So yeah, I can send you the link. And this is not my favorite. They're adjustable like this. That's not my favorite. I like the form-fitted hats better. So these ones are super cheap. And a lot of my hats that are over here were around $20 hats. So they're not super expensive. But then I have the expensive ones that are ones that I look at and I go, ooh, I want that. And then I take a year, 2 years to finally, one of them 3 years before I pulled the trigger on it. So, all right. So, and we did. So that's what's going on. And I need to make a flyer for this. So and I'll put it in the Discord. in case you, anyone that's watching the VOD later misses it, tomorrow is going to be a sewing stream. Yes, that's what I said, a sewing stream. I'm doing cosplay with Reach Conference. And so with that, let me just see, do I have? No, I don't. Okay. I was trying to think if I had a button set up to play the Reach Conference promo, which I need to get. Mosh pit this year? They're telling me there's no mosh pit this year. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Yeah, quality hats can cost a pretty penny, and worth that penny. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Samus, good to see you. Samus is doing the workouts as well for Reach Conference. So we're going to raid out. Let's find someone to raid. Just wanted to let you know about the events going up over there. The event tomorrow. So tomorrow morning will be super short stream. And then we'll be doing the extra sewing stream tomorrow. I'm still trying to debate a cooking stream, but I'm fasting for the next 3 days, so it won't be here. I was thinking of doing a cooking stream for Easter, but I'm not having family over, so it's kind of like, what do I do if I do a cooking stream for Easter? I don't know. I don't know. It's also on a Sunday when a lot of people will be in Easter or be with family, but the ideas of those cooking streams is usually to be with people who aren't here. I'll let you know. There still could be a thing. I got a message I got to follow up on whether or not I will be preaching on Sunday, so I will let you know. What kind of fast? That's hard. Oh, okay. Great question. So, I started out with intermittent fasting like 5 years ago. And if you don't know intermittent fasting, it is where you have an eating window and you have a fasting window. And so a 16-8 is the recommended start for if you're going to do fasting. So you take your, what was it, 16-8? Is that what it is? Trying to add up. Yeah. You take whatever your last meal is, let's say at 6 p.m., and you go to 6 a.m., that's 12 hours. So you wait another 4 hours, so you eat at 10 a.m. So you have from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. to eat in. Now you might not start that way, but a 16-8 fast is how that's described. So you let your body do all the things your body needs to do in that window of autophagy, which is replacing dead cells in your body, of other body chemicals that are released and those things. So you get off of the sugar and you use your fat reserves and those kinds of things. Now I understand for medical reasons, I'm not giving medical advice, and some people need to consult a doctor before doing any kind of fasting. But during that window of when you fast, and that's how I started, and then I eventually went from a 6-hour window to 8-hour window to a 6-hour window to a 4-hour window, and now I do OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. So I do not count 1 meal a day as fasting, since that is my standard practice. So it means I ate dinner last night. I will eat again on Friday. That's what I'm doing for a fast. So some people say water only when you are doing a fast. I'm in the group that thinks as long as you are not breaking a fast from the standpoint of giving your body nutrition, that it will stop the processes your body are in. So black tea, black coffee, and saying black meaning you're not putting milk, you're not putting sweetener of any kind in there. That's what I'm doing. So this is not a beginner should do this. Go from Monday to Friday. So let's see, what is that? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's 72. What's another 24? 86-hour fast, essentially, is what I'm doing. I don't do that all the time, but I enjoy that. But I typically do it when my wife is gone, because otherwise I make the meals, and it's hard to make meals and sit there and not eat. So, but otherwise, I will occasionally do a 1-day fast, a 2-day fast. And I mean, 1 day for me is 48 hours because I'm skipping 1 meal. So 48 hour, 72-hour fast, those are the typical ones that I do. For extreme beginners, you'll often recommend just pushing back breakfast an hour or eating dinner an hour earlier. That's a great recommendation. Do that for a week or so and add another hour. But yeah, talking to a doctor is important. Oh yeah, and absolutely. I love that you said that. Yeah. And I made it sound simple because I was oversimplifying it. Going from having a 16-8 hour window of eating, didn't get to, one meal a day in a month. That was 18 months. So I did like the 16-8 for 3 months before I went to a 6 hour window. And the 6 hour to the 4 hour was like, why am I eating now? I'm not hungry. I'll just push it back. So thank you for the biddies. Is your one meal usually pretty big? I don't overeat on that meal. Like I have a standard size plate and I usually do not get seconds. So I just have a plate and eat a plate. So I don't eat any bigger because of that. One of the things that happens when you do one meal a day is your metabolism will slow down. Xanadu Peach, welcome in. And so some people do not like that your metabolism slows down. They think that's a bad thing. Actually, what it is, my body has become really efficient with the fuel that I give it. But also, I have kept off weight for 5 years that I lost. Now I'd like to lose more, and I have a problem hitting a new level because my body has gotten used to what I do. And so while I may lose 5 pounds between now and Friday, as soon as I start eating again, it will put those 5 pounds right back on. It is hard for me to do that. How often do OMAD? Turns out girl fasting is a bit different. Want to try doing 36 and work to 72. Yeah. Absolutely. Everyone's body is different. My wife has health reasons that she does not do fasting and is not able to. There are other people with health reasons that can't. If you can't do a true fast, the next best one is to do 2 meals a day, 12 hours apart. So you eat at 6 a.m., you eat at 6 p.m. That'll be the next best thing that you could do if you're able to do that as far as health benefits from it. From a spiritual standpoint, you can choose anything to give up and to, what is the word that we have over here? Denial. Deny yourself something. So denial is not the same as fasting, but it's often treated the same way. So I could deny myself tea for a month. And that would be a good spiritual practice too. It might also be, if I'm giving up caffeine, a good spiritual practice. Do you always eat healthy, or since went all day you treat yourself to a little more? I try to eat healthy, and I continue to try to eat healthier, but it's hard at times to fully eat healthy because of what is in food, because of the food supply, the food chain, where you get things. I mean, like you don't think you should need to check the ingredients on cheese to find out there's sugar in cheese. But read the ingredients label on cheese. And if you buy shredded cheese, it's got all kinds of awful ingredients in there. Why? To preserve the shredded cheese from molding, to preserve the shredded cheese from clumping together. You know what I do? I grade my own cheese. I grate my own cheese. So, I like saying this joke. So, when Trump got elected the first time, he ran on a platform of Make America Great Again, and I do. I have been grating my own cheese since he took office, and I'm not going back. I'm not buying shredded cheese. I grate my own cheese. So, Make America Great Again, I just spell it differently. Okay. Great convo, by the way, everybody. Appreciate it. And I am always open to talking about fasting from health standpoint as well as spiritual standpoint. And I think that... Oh, reading the Bible joke. Okay. I think that figuring out how to fast for physical reasons should precede figuring out how to fast for spiritual reasons. You won't find a lot of people that think that same way. But if I can deal with fasting and hunger on a standpoint of knowing what my body does physically, it's easier for me when I try to do something spiritual to know what my body is doing something and to not give into it and to get more out of it. So, okay, so we're in this section, if you were here yesterday, where it is asking for which book of the Bible. So we got more of them. Which book of the Bible is wet? Which book of the Bible is wet? None. Oh my goodness. Any other guesses? Any other guesses? I'll give you another one. I'll give you another one. Since we're doing books of the Bible. Which book of the Bible can count? 1, two, which book of the Bible can count and which book of the Bible is wet? Numbers. You got that one. That one's a really simple one. So which book of the Bible is wet? That's going to be Hosea. Hosea. Or Hosea. Because it contains a C. So look at the spelling of it. Hosea. 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 Okay, last one. If God got milk from the cows, what did he get from the ducks? If God got milk from the cows, what did he get from the ducks? Oh, let me just cover this up. What did he get from the ducks? He got quackers. He got quackers. Excellent, excellent. You got 2 of the 3 right. I think that's our best day so far of guessing the answers. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Oops. I hate when I'm trying to click on it and it doesn't do what I want because I'm trying to click. Oh, I don't think we've gone there in a while. Let me see who else we've got. Thank you, thank you. You're here all night, ladies and gents. Who is that? I did not know that, but I'm following them. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wow. That's a lot of people today over there. That's cool. I haven't rated her in a while either. Okay. That song gets stuck in my head all the time. That song is stuck in my head once again. Do you know the title of the song? Okay. Let's go over to Z Sarah U. Pastor Dustin! Welcome in, friend. Welcome in. We're just rating out. We're going to go over to Z Sarah U. We're going to go over to Z Sarah U. Okay. May God's seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Amen. Nope, and don't want it stuck in your head. That song gets stuck in my head so often. It is annoying. Anyway, I appreciate all of you. Appreciate the great conversation. And the way that you handle disagreement is so appreciated. You don't get mad. You say, yeah, but what about? And hey, don't forget. Send me a DM on that. Send me a DM so I don't forget. I'm watching. I'll reply to the DM. We're going to go over. We're going to bless other people. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for hanging out with the workouts. I don't know why you hang out with the workouts, but I enjoy having you here. It makes it more fun. And when I'm doing the lip thing, I don't do as much silliness as when I do other stuff. But anyway, blessings upon blessings upon blessings, my friend.
on his head, he's streaming live. Reading from the book, the word's so alive. A prayer in his heart that lifts the soul. In the digital world where spirits roll. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream, spreading love with every verse he reads, planting hope like precious seeds. He's a shepherd with a virtual flock, leading us to faith around the clock. Tapping amen as we raise our hands in this sacred digital land. Don't need a pew to find the light. Through a screen he's shining bright, preaching peace and guiding us right. In our hearts his fire ignites. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream, spreading love with every verse he reads, planting hope like precious seeds.
Guys, you know one thing that you're
Chat
grateful for
is
today?
buzzing with the gospel
One
truth.
thing that you be grateful for.
Every line a fountain of youth.
Oh man, I'm grateful for people.
Bible open pages turning slow.
That
Feel the
have taken the
spirit
time
start
to share with others
to flow.
about God. You know, yesterday I was watching a video of these two best friends just talking about God and just sharing that online. It's just so beautiful to see. I love it. Hello, Bob. Good morning. I'm grateful for muscles.
Chat is buzzing with the gospel truth.
That'd be true though. I'm grateful for
Every line a fountain of youth. Bible open pages turning slow. Feel the spirit start to flow.
Hello, Rocky. Clean hair.
Just afraid of something more. I can see the starlight in her eyes.
Great Mickey.
why you do that? My goodness. I think I blame myself for being such an influence.